Just give me a little background on Timoratus, or tell me how you say it if I said it
Uh,
wrong.
that's fine. I've heard it pronounced 50 different ways. The way that
Okay.
we pronounce it is TIMORATUS. So
Oh,
part of
okay.
the logo design, I designed the logo with the square,
Hmm.
TIMORATUS. So you just kind of spell it out.
Okay. Okay. So kind
But
of like aura, but
yeah,
Timoratus. Okay.
yep.
Excellent.
So honestly, the whole thing started as me just kind of wanting to dip my fingers or toes, excuse me, in whatever metal I could, because I was learning how to play guitar and things like that. And that's where the first 4 EPs came out: Black Death, Doom, and Grind, which later got redone completely and released as the Great Mortality. So I'm
Right.
a big sucker for concept albums. I'm a huge sucker for that. One of my absolute favorite concept albums is the Mars Volta's Steel Dust and the Comatorium. Just totally changed my world, along with classics like Pink Floyd and things like that.
Right.
But I really enjoy a good story, and I always enjoy things that kind of change, keep it fresh, so to speak.
Right.
So I started making music, and things started going pretty well and picking up a little steam. And then when I released Reverentia, I was actually sitting there in church during the worship section, and I'm like, man, I would really love to do something like Doom Drone, like a bit of worship album. And it just hit me. And then for that whole 2017, that's what I was working on. And got married in 2015. So she was just kind of in the background, Courtney. And she just kind of let me do my own thing, let boys be boys. You know how metal is man's music.
Yeah. Right.
But and so I kind of got her behind the mic for Mere Symbols on Reverentia, and I said, come on, let's have some fun. Just kind of scream at the microphone. We won't have to record anything if you don't want to. Just fun. And she had this notion that all metal was just angry and super serious.
Right.
So, introducing kind of a fun aspect of it, and she really enjoyed it. So released that album, and then we did a couple smaller things. I did a collaboration with a cellist, Weapons of Indignation, kind of a very drone sort of EP, 2-song EP. And then, if I can recall correctly, started talking with her about recording another concept of the 7 deadly sins and having each song be its own sin.
Right.
So, and we wanted to do that in a really fun way. So we did the grindcore. So that's minute-long songs where you don't got to worry about too much.
Right. Right.
So from there, she and I were talking a lot about things that are really important to us as far as in our own lives, spiritual, and pornography was something that was hit both of our lives very hard. I struggled with it for years, probably 15 years. And so that's where For We Are Not Beasts came from. A very personal record, a release, EP to me. And from there, continue kind of build a fan base of ever-changing genres. And
Right.
then I really wanted to do some sort of comedic release because I love comedy. I originally wanted to go to college to be an animator and voice actor.
Right.
My wife, I don't know if I would describe myself as such, but is very funny. But so I really wanted to do something stupid and funny and something that not only the Christian scene could enjoy, but anyone at large. Very family friendly, nothing, cursing, no cursing and stuff like that. So you can play it for anybody.
Right.
So started kind of hashing that out at the beginning of last year, or pardon me, in the middle of last year, around August, and then kind of put that on the back burner for life, obviously. And then the pandemic hit, and I was laid off from my job in March, and I said, I don't want to look back on this time and not have anything to show for it. So I hit the ground running, and I cranked out the entire album in that, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And so I wrote it with the help of Courtney on a lot of things, especially lyrically. Recorded it, mixed it, mastered it, and it's all out on streaming now. But my life in a mediocre metal band obviously is it's a big caricature of metal bands and kind of the struggles that they go through. So hopefully some people can relate to it. I know that a couple reviews said they had a hard time because they weren't specifically in metal bands, which I get. But so that's kind of where I am right now.
Right. Now, why do you, is it just your own taste of wanting to move from one genre to the next?
Yeah, I would say so. I had such a terrible time in grade school, and when I got to college, I had a teacher that told me, "Have you ever been tested for ADHD?" Because I was a very spastic child. I go, "No, I never have." And so I went to a psychologist and a doctor, and they said, "Oh yeah, you've got it really badly." And so I kind of attribute that to my change in tastes. I don't like to stay in one spot too long because I just kind of, I find it a little boring, and my gaze just kind of shifts.
Right. I find it interesting that you somehow always return to the metal base, though.
Yeah.
You know, you like mix it up, but it's you come back to that metal base. But yeah, that's definitely something that I've noticed is that each record is pretty different than the last one. It's you never really stick with it's you. Let's put it this way, and this isn't a bad thing, but you don't have a particular sound.
Yeah.
It's like you have a sound to an extent, but you always veer off of it to a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Well, that is a criticism from some fans.
Well, right, of course.
So,
You can't please everybody, right?
true. Very true.
So what led you to wanting to mess around in the electronic spectrum?
Oh, well, growing up, I've always loved like synthesizer music and things like that. I remember being just fascinated. I'm 34. I don't know how old you are, but
48, man. So
man,
I can pretty much tell you that anything below that, I'm gonna know what it is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, do you remember the Letter People that was on like PBS in America here? And
What are they called?
the Letter People, like people that were literally letters. It was an old education show.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing it, but I'm not familiar with it like probably the way you are. But no, I do. I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, the thing is they had a very, very synth heavy, like Moog heavy soundtrack to that entire show.
Sure.
And that just, I remember being fascinated by that. And as I got older, I discovered bands like Joy Electric specifically, where the modular synthesizers and things like that just blew me away. And that's kind of my two main passions. I love electronic music, not so much like dance or house or things like that. Very synthy, very warm, sort of rolling sort of sounds, along with metal. Those are my two passions. And so I saw this latest album to be kind of a way to combine those two, because a lot of electronic elements, especially those very synth heavy ones, are very nerdy, a lot of people think.
Right.
So
right, like Joy Electric, where it's like more of a Candyland sounding type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love Joy Electric. I used to book him in Austin when I booked over in there when I was living there. But yeah, I've known Ronnie for a while. He's awesome. Great stuff. So are you into industrial stuff?
I wouldn't say too heavily. I do enjoy some KMFDM and stuff along that, some Nine Inch Nails and some later like Showbread things that are very industrial kind of tinged.
Sure.
I love Mortal. Like New Engine was a fantastic record to me. But other than that, it doesn't delve too deep into the industrial vein.
Right. Have you heard of like Circle of Dust or?
Oh yeah. I'm very familiar with Clayton's body of work, like Circle of Dust and Cell Dweller and Park.
Yeah, he also does the Scandroid stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you into that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because to me, that's about as industrial as you can get. The Circle of Dust and the Cell Dweller stuff is for sure,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Although, if you want to say true industrial, if you ever heard of Author and Punisher?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
man. Phil from As I Lay Dying is their manager.
Really?
Yeah, he actually introduced me to them. Not him as a person, I haven't met him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was with them one night because I worked with them. They were on my label.
Oh,
I
nice.
had their first label. Um, and he was showing me that stuff. But yeah, they're on tour with, or they were on tour with Tool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's industrial. That's like grassroots industrial.
Industrial.
Yes. Yeah, that is real industrial. Right. No, I totally understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying though. The industrial metal, Nine Inch Nails type stuff. Do you guys played live, right?
We played live about five times. So,
Okay.
and that was all last year. I played a couple times more than that live with Logan Thompson's band Symphony of Heaven, where I play bass, but just as TIMORATUS. So our first show ever was at Audio Feed last July.
Oh wow, okay.
So.
Oh, awesome. All right. How do you guys feel about the live experience with you guys?
Oh, it's a ton of fun. It's one of those things where you get bit by the bug and you can't wait to go out again and kind of perform. Which I think is great, especially for Courtney. She's a teacher, obviously, and used to being in front of kids. But it's a little different when you're in front of a room full of people that are clad in metal and black shirts and
right.
But so when we play live, Logan Thompson plays guitar and Mason Beard drums, and a running gag for the band is we can't find a reliable bassist, and that's true in real life. So we actually have a mannequin who's dressed up as the fifth member with a black hood over his head.
Right.
So you can't tell. So that's kind of a running joke. And his name is The Mystery. On this new album, we all have names. So I'm the party, Courtney's the style, Logan's the redneck, Mason's the kid, and then The Mystery on bass.
So do you have a bass player at all? Aside from, do you do it on the album?
Yeah. Whenever the album is recorded, it is me.
Okay.
Right now, though, I am writing I'm not sure what style Courtney and I are going to go on this, but we're writing a 2-person set, or it's probably going to be a 2-person EP with just her and I, that we can play live when it's just us if Logan or Mason are unable to play. So.
Okay. Sorry, I was looking at my questions. I wanted to make sure I was getting everything.
Oh, that's fine.
I was listening to you.
No.
So is Courtney into metal and stuff on her own, or was it something where she kind of just got brought into it?
I know where this question's going. No, when her and I first started dating in 2013, 2014. Anyway, the heaviest thing she knew to exist was Skillet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I introduced her to specifically a band called Rolo Tomasi, which is a UK band. They're kind of like a mathcore band, very electronic infused. Honestly, they're a huge influence for our sound. But she sounded very similar to what Courtney could do vocally. And so she kind of listened to that more and then branched out on her own and then listened to a lot of gent bands like Tesseract and stuff with more clean singing, but still, really aggressive, meaty guitars and things like that.
Right.
And then went from that to metalcore to death metal, all within about 4 years. So yeah, she listens to stuff all on her own. Granted, she still stays more towards the melodic side of things, which I think everyone who is new to metal, especially as they're older, kind of starts there and then works their way into the heavier stuff.
Right. The my wife actually, that's how I met my wife. She was sang in a metal band.
No kidding.
In a hardcore band, yeah. I booked her band. My buddies were in her band.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's how we met. And we've been married for 16 years now, almost
Oh,
17
dog.
coming up. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with the female hardcore metal vocal stylings.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
would you? I always try to look at my questions here. I don't want to miss anything. What sort of music do you listen to on your own, and who would be your favorite artist
Uh,
if you had to pick one?
if I had to pick one, my all-time favorite is Extol, hands down. They are the band Burial specifically, and then Undeceived is really what got me into extreme metal. Um, I found a This Is Solid State sampler disc at a flea market, and I bought it, and it just totally changed everything for me.
Yeah.
Um, Extol, my tastes are really broad. I listen to a lot of metal. Probably 60% of everything I listen to is metal. But I listen to a lot of lounge, or if you've ever heard of the French band Air,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I know who they are. Yeah.
Air and Beacon, and um, it's always funny when you think of these things. You or when somebody asks you a question, you can never think off the top of your head. But
Right.
um, like Panda Bear, and just as strange as I can kind of get away from the pop scene, not because I have anything against pop music or anything like that. Part of the reason why I don't listen to pop music is those songs, along with some worship songs at church, will get stuck in my head and literally wake me up at 3 a.m. And so I just can't, I value sleep too much,
Right.
and it bothers me.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. So apparently nobody else I've ever talked to has had that issue, but yeah, it is a very prevalent thing to me, to the point
Interesting.
where Courtney and I are watching a movie or television show and it's past 9 o'clock. She'll mute a song or something like that to try to keep me so I can actually maintain a sleep schedule.
Right. No, Extol is fabulous, man. I actually saw them play their first live show in America.
Really?
Yeah, it was at this little festival in Texas called Texas Rock Fest in the middle of nowhere, like outside of Austin.
Yeah.
And I'm not even entirely sure they were supposed to be there. They just like they were over here and somehow ended up getting in touch with the promoter, and she let them play. But yeah, they were with Martin, who is a guy that used to work with Metal Blade.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I met him then, and those guys are incredible. Have you ever
Oh,
seen them
absolutely.
live?
I haven't, and that kills me inside.
Man,
But I
I'm
know I'll
telling
probably
you,
never get the chance to.
uh, the first time I saw them live, I knew. I was like, these guys are, they are solid. This
Yeah.
is like one of the most solid bands I've ever seen. Um, and they went to Cornerstone right after that. And I told all my friends that were there. I told the guys in Zayo. I told the guys in Training for Utopia, because that's when it was like the
Oh, yeah.
98 area. I told them all. I said at midnight tonight on the HM stage, this
Yeah.
band is going to play, and they're going to destroy you. And they all went, and they were like, oh yeah, sure, okay, yeah, okay, whatever, man. So they all show up, and they're waiting. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, that first song kicked in. There were guys in bands that were like, I don't even know how I can play anymore. They were like, it's just, they were like dumbfounded at how good these guys were. But yeah, they were incredible, man. And they got signed, I think, like the next day.
Really?
But yeah, by tooth and nail, like the next day. Yeah, it was the next day. They took him to lunch, and I'm pretty sure the deal was done by then for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, great band. I
Incredible.
love, and great guys too. Great guys. Um, if you do you have a favorite superhero? And if so, why do you like them?
You know, I love comic books, but I'm not a big superhero fan. Weirdly enough,
Interesting. Okay.
And I read a lot of like the Alien series, like the Xenomorph.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
that I mean, it's a huge series, and I really enjoy reading those. Or the Sandman, Neil Gaiman's The Sandman,
Hmm.
fantastic. Fables. Um, I don't know if I have a favorite superhero, to be honest with you.
Have you read Sweet Tooth?
I've seen it, but I haven't read it yet.
You need to read that. I think you'd be into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're about to make it a show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a road story kind of thing where a guy takes this mutated kid on the road with him and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. I think you really like it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that. Have you read any of the 30 Days of Night or American Vampire stuff?
I've not read the American Vampire stuff. I've read a good bit of the 30 Days of Night, though, and
Okay.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I would highly suggest American Vampire too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're into that sort of thing. I mean,
Oh, yeah. I'm
some
more
people,
fantasy than I am like superheroes and stuff like that.
right?
But nothing can touch the Sandman to me. That was
Right,
amazing. I'm
right.
very much anticipating the Netflix adaptation to see how they handle that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be fine. I mean, because he's going to be involved in it,
Mm.
so I don't really see how they could screw it up if he's involved with it. Neil Gaiman, but
Yeah, well,
who knows, man? You know. Did you like Watchmen?
I love the graphic novel. Granted, I think his name is just who wrote it?
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore. He's a nut job. Fantastic writer. But I did enjoy the movie. I haven't watched the show. Just haven't had time. But
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. The movie I really enjoyed,
oh yeah.
although a lot of people didn't, but I thought it
Well,
was really
the
good.
biggest gripe with it was the ending, which I thought was fine.
Yeah, me
In
too. I
both,
thought it was fine. I didn't
yeah.
feel like they really went anywhere. Have you seen any of his read like From Hell or any of that stuff?
I haven't read From Hell. Obviously, I've read V for Vendetta and things like
Okay.
that. But yeah.
Yeah. The From Hell. I like the Jack the Ripper stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a big horror guy.
Oh, I'm a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean, I went to London a couple of years ago and did a Jack the Ripper tour.
really?
Yeah, and they took us to the locations, and it was crazy just to like stand there and go, "Whoa, man!
The history there.
Yeah, this happened here." You know,
Dog.
and he would tell me like how the streets used to be, and they would tell us like, I mean, it was so dark that you couldn't even see your hand in front of you back then.
Doggone.
Yeah, because there were only gas lights.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Well,
pretty crazy.
let
We
me
went
ask
to
you
the
a question.
huh?
What is your favorite horror
Man,
movie? Or one of them, I guess.
I really like The Fog.
Really?
Carpenter's The Fog. I
Yeah.
really enjoy that. I think The Thing is probably one of the best horror films ever.
You see, I
Um,
would say The Thing is my favorite horror film of all
yeah,
time.
yeah, The Thing is solid, man. That's definitely a solid movie. I love The Fog.
Yeah.
Just because it's
Very
just to
ominous.
me, huh?
It's very ominous.
Yeah, and it's the perfect ghost story movie. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I just can't. What else do I like? Um, I like. Did you ever see Sinister?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. You know that guy's a Christian, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the guy that wrote it and directed it.
Really?
Yeah, Scott Derrickson. Yeah, he also did Doctor Strange and The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
He did that one.
Man.
He also directed a Hellraiser movie.
That's a very, very hit or miss sort of franchise.
Well, and see, most people think that his was not they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because it was too spiritual.
Oh, really?
It didn't have Pinhead wasn't in it enough for them. And actually, I'm pretty sure I interviewed Doug Bradley a few years back, and I think that's one of his least favorite ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an atheist though, so I mean,
I did know that.
it would figure, that he would not be into that one. Man, I don't know. What else. I love slasher movies.
Yeah.
I love Scream, Friday the 13th.
I have a huge soft spot for 80s monster movies.
Oh, I like them, yeah.
Like the 80s version of The Blob.
I love that movie.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, it's better than the original.
I have to agree.
And I hate saying that because I hate saying stuff like that, but I really enjoyed that.
Well, The Thing was a remake, so.
Yeah, but the original Thing, I think, is a different. It's kind of like those are two completely different things to where you can appreciate both. You can't really compare them, in my opinion. Not the two of those.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Did you like the remake
of The Thing?
Yeah, not the remake. I'm sorry, the prequel.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one that came out in 2011.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was a fantastic companion piece. I was very sad to see all the work Studio ADI did on all the practical effects, and then it got glossed over with CGI, all of it in post.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was definitely more CGI.
But I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we could probably talk about horror all day because I mean I'm way into that. I'd say probably one of my favorite ones, and then you can say one, and then we got to stop, or we'll never stop. Fright Night.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that movie.
I actually watched that a month ago. Courtney's never seen it.
I went. That movie is so great, man. I actually went to a reunion, and they were all there. Yeah, the director was there. Chris Sarandon was there. The kid, Charlie, they all were there. Yeah, so I got to meet them, and that was really cool, man. I love that show or that movie. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the second one too. I thought the second one was really good too.
I agree. It ended kind of abruptly out of nowhere, but it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Okay, wait a minute. Are you talking about
Fright Night 2?
Real Fright Night 2 with Roddy McDowell?
Well, they only made Fright Night 1 and 2, and then the remake with Colin Farrell, right?
And then they made Fright Night 2 from that one, which was basically a remake of the remake.
I never saw the Fright Night 2, the more recent one. I never saw that.
So you've seen the original Fright Night Part 2 with the daughter or the sister, I mean.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I love that one. I love both of those, in my opinion. They're both great films. What do you
shifting back?
Yes, definitely. Oh, wait. Go ahead. You can share one more. Go ahead.
No. I'm done.
We'll never get over that.
Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about with that stuff.
Right. If you had to choose one movie and TV series to watch, what would it be?
TV series would probably be Futurama. Okay. I love the writing is so witty. That or Red Dwarf.
Okay.
Movie would probably be Dumb and Dumber.
I love that.
That is the perfectly written comedy movie to me.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. So are you into fantasy films at all?
It depends.
Like Thor or, I don't know, Conan or...
It really depends.
Dragon Slayer.
Well, the 80s and 90s were a really weird time, especially like high fantasy stuff with dragons and knights and things like that, because it was bordering on that really cheesy sort of vibe, which a lot of people love. I love Mystery Science Theater and riff tracks and all that, but it was really hard to watch if you were trying to take it seriously.
Right. Did you like the Conan movies?
Yeah.
With Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. There was 3 of them. there was Conan the Warrior, or Conan Barbarian, Conan, I can't remember the second one, and then Red Sonja, which is like the third one, wasn't it?
Right, right. Yeah, well, he didn't play Conan in that, though.
Did he not?
Nah, he was another character. Yeah. Yeah, there's Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, and then there's the new one that has Jason Momoa in it, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it was decent. Yeah, it was cool. This question you've pretty much already answered, I think. Do you consider yourself to be religious, a religious person? And how does that affect your career or careers?
Yes, I would consider myself a religious person. Grew up in church. Through my late teens to about mid-20s, I didn't take my faith very seriously at all. Then things obviously got challenged, and it was along the lines of, well, why do I believe what I believe? Which caused me to obviously grow in my faith. I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question? How
does it affect your careers? Since I know that you do music and other stuff. So
yeah. Okay. I'm a graphic designer by trade. Originally, when I graduated, I worked for ad agencies. Well, an ad agency, I should say. And one of our biggest clients was tobacco and alcohol, specifically Miller.
Right.
And so I had to go to these meetings, the subsidiaries in like New York and things like that. And it was the most sexist meetings I have ever been in my life. They sit you down, they put a beer in front of you, and if you don't drink it, they look at you like you're Satan incarnate. And I couldn't stand it. It bothered me so much. So I worked there for about 2 years, and then some life events happened, and then I moved back home to Louisville, Kentucky, and started working for a church as their graphic designer. And then went to another church to be their graphic designer. And right now, I am looking for work. Obviously, the pandemic and everything has kind of put the kibosh on a lot of stuff. They let me go from my position in the middle of March because they just said there wasn't anything to do because everybody was staying home, which I get. But I'm currently still looking for work, praying that this album does well enough to kind of sustain me, because I'm tired of having to sell my record collection to pay bills.
Right.
But I guess I'm thankful I have things that I can sell to make money, so I'm not too far in the hole. But that's where I am right now. So
right on. Do you? I've noticed that your records, the older ones, and I think it's just this one that you just did.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite as overtly Christian as the other ones.
It's not, and that's part of the reason why I didn't go through Dwayne or Vision of God Records or the subsidiary Christian Metal Underground, specifically because I don't, and this may sound awful, and I'm really sorry if it does seem that way, I don't want it to be branded as a Christian record right off the gates, because people won't listen to it. I think we're all in an understanding, if you say you're Christian, then that automatically makes it a ceiling as far as who will actually sit down and listen to it.
Right.
And given the current situation where I'm financially in need, that and the fact that it's not specifically a Christian record. Now, Christians can listen to it and not have anything to object to.
Sure.
I don't think. And still enjoy it. And I think people that are not of Christian faith or whatever it may be will still get some enjoyment out of it. But the intent was not to make this a Christian record specifically. It was more of a, hey, anybody can enjoy this.
Okay. My daughter just ran into the wall. Sorry.
Right?
No, she's fine.
Okay.
No, she was being dramatic. She's 3. She's 3. Yeah, that's why I was like, I wanted to make sure she didn't go through the wall.
I could do that.
Yeah, no, and that's, yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, that's, I mean, I listen to everything across the board.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite bands is Kiss. So, I mean,
Oh, I couldn't tell.
Oh, do I? Oh, you can see that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know you could see it. This one I just got.
Very nice.
But yeah, I'm a big Kiss fan. So I mean, it's fine. I just didn't know whether that was like a conscious thing or whether you were just kind of like, this is where you were at the time, where you were like, okay, this is the concept that I kind of want to get out of my system.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that. I'm sure we'll veer more towards more religious material later.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's well, that's cool though that I mean, because a lot of people would use, or they try to use, the Christianity as a way to make money.
Oh yeah.
Whereas you're like, you know what, man, I'm doing this because I want to get further. I'm going to move away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
some
I
people
totally
in
get
that
it.
scene will ostracize you because of that, because they feel like you're being untrue to your faith. I've had a lot of discussions with people specifically about Skillet and their change. I mean, if you look at their whole trajectory, their whole discography, it's, super Christian, kind of Christian undertones. And then it kind of goes this way.
Right.
To where I know a lot of people that aren't Christian that really enjoy them. But the people within the Christian scene are like, you see, they totally betrayed their faith because of doing this.
Right.
So there will always be those people, and I get that. But anyone that's watching or listening to this, know that I have not stepped away from my faith.
Right. Yeah, you don't give anybody any, So what else have you been doing during the pandemic?
Honestly, the majority of my time, whether Courtney really wanted me to do it or not, was working on the album.
Right.
So that, and obviously looking for small odd jobs here and there.
Right.
I had to last week move with the help of some other very large people, which I'm not incredibly big. I'm like 5'7", weigh like 138 pounds. So, but these 3 obnoxious art pieces to Kentucky's Museum of the Arts from the storage warehouse. And so that was incredibly heavy, really hot, and man, they're ugly.
Wow. So what is the music? What's the music scene like? You're in Kentucky, right?
I'm in New Albany, Indiana.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I can literally look out and see Kentucky from like my apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
So I might as well say Louisville, Kentucky, because that's the same thing.
Okay. What's the scene? Is there a decent music scene there? I mean, do bands come around, or did they come around? I guess I should say.
Yeah, a lot of bands came around. Louisville has this weird mantra called "Keep Louisville Weird." That's all over the city, especially on places like Bardstown Road, which is like the art district sort of places.
Right.
So, but yeah, they have a pretty healthy music scene. Indianapolis is about 2 hours north of me, and they have a pretty good metal scene. So
cool. So the bands would come through, like Fit for a King, As I Lay Dying.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Would you open for them, or you've only played a few times, right? A handful of times.
Yeah, the last time I personally played was with Logan's band Symphony of Heaven, and we opened for Shadows of Intent.
Oh, okay.
Which was fun, and the most people I've ever played in front of live, which was kind of nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun. Other than that, I think the most that Courtney and I in TIMORATUS have played in front of is like 60, 70 people at most.
Okay. Did you have plans to tour, or do you have plans to play out, or is that something that you guys want to do?
Oh yeah, we had plans to play at least about 5 to maybe 7 shows this year, but obviously things happen to where.
Well, right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's basically put the brakes on all of that. So I'm sitting on all this merch. I'm like,
Oh man,
but
dang. So recently the album came out
yesterday.
yesterday. Yes. Have you had a lot of response to it yet? I know it's just yesterday, but I mean,
Yeah.
have fans said, "Hey, this is cool. Hey, this is
Yeah.
weird."
I've had a lot of people say things along the lines of, "Man, this is a lot of fun," or "Man, this is weird, but it's interesting." Very few negative criticisms, which I'm a graphic designer and I've developed a thick skin on stuff like that.
Right.
So it wouldn't bother me, but I'm glad to hear that no one's really been negative about it. The album has 7 songs and then 3 skits. And I thought people would just rip the skits apart.
Right.
But so far, everyone seems to have enjoyed them.
I mean, see, to me, the way I look at it is man, just take it for what it is. You know, it's like you don't have a preconceived idea, which I don't know how anyone who's a fan of you guys would have a preconceived idea because you do things. You really you try to switch things up, man. You know,
Yeah.
The that Seven Deadly Sins album, man. I listened to that just today.
Yeah.
I was introduced to you guys by Steve Richter from Faster for the Master. He used to be one of my customers at my store in Austin. So I've known that guy for like 25 years.
Yeah.
But he introduced me to this new stuff and I loved it.
Wow.
So I kind of went back and listened to the rest of the discography, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, the Seven Deadly Sins, man, that's probably my second favorite. Because I was just like, because I was like, wow, I really enjoy it. It kind of reminded me, have you heard of the band The Locust?
Oh, yeah. They wear the big bug suits. Yeah, I've seen them twice.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. You had some synth in there, right?
I don't think we had any synth in that one.
Man,
I think it was just,
I keep hearing keyboards and stuff.
Oh, the guitar was so stinking down tuned. I've never had strings that floppy.
Okay.
So they may have rung out.
Did you have keys on the one after that?
The For We Are Not Beasts, the pink and blue cover one?
No, I think it was the redo of the old stuff.
The Great Mortality?
Yeah. There's keyboards on that, right?
There was some keyboards, more traditional stuff like organ and stuff like that.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. Okay. Yeah, because I thought I heard some stuff that kind of reminded me of The Locust. Like just that kind of frenetic, you know, kind of, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have anything in closing you'd like to share?
I really appreciate anybody who has actually taken the time to listen to the album. Obviously, I can, with today's modern day technology, I can see stats and things like that of how many people listen to what and everything like that. And I'm really glad, I'm really thankful that people seem to be sticking out. Obviously, the first track gets the most, and then it kind of whittles down from there. But people that are sticking with it, and people that enjoy it, and if you would share it, I would really, both Courtney and I would be really, really thankful on it. But just try to keep a stiff upper lip in this tough time. I know I am.
Is there a place that they can go to get merch if they want, or buy the album, or where would you?
If I can find a job relatively soon, we'd like to have a physical CD release of the new album for My Life in a Mediocre Metal Band. But we have shirts and patches, and I own a screen press, and so we do all our own merch.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so if you just go to TIMORATUS.com, that'll take you to our Bandcamp, and there's a merch section there. You can buy directly from us. So
cool. Okay.
TIMORATUS.com.
All right. Well, hey, listen, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and love the record, and I'll definitely keep promoting it. And thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, man.
Oh, Thank you. Maybe we'll talk again about horror movies sometime.
Yes, probably most likely we will.
Oh, good. I look forward to that.
All right, take care, man.
All right. Take care.